Shadows, the lightly armored assassins ready to attack when least expected, utilizing stealth, poisons, and striking from the shadows. Despite being one of the coolest classes, not many major characters are actually rogues, which makes sense when you think about it, as generally rogues work from behind the scenes and aren't really there taking all the glory. All their power comes from striking when least expected. Compared to most classes, rogues are barely a class. It's more like a really loose way to characterize them, as they can be everything from criminals to wardens to just straight out assassins and just a bunch of other things. However, what are the most powerful rogues out there in the Warcraft lore? If you guys are looking to get an additional edge in World of Warcraft and any other game and improve your latency, then check out the sponsor of this video, No Ping. This is especially useful to you guys that are living in areas where high ping is a pretty big problem, and this can without a doubt affect your gaming experience, especially if you're in a highly competitive setting. No Ping is a simple but a really useful solution. Essentially, you choose the game that you want to play, find the server that is the closest to your actual location, and that is really all there is to it. It is just a single click of a button. Furthermore, No Ping has a bunch of other features. Turbo games, where it can improve your keyboard response, which, even though it is a minor change, it is a one that adds up. No Ping can also boost your FPS through a bunch of features, from game priority to changing your power plan to improving the effectiveness of your CPU power with a single click of a button, and a bunch of other things that can really add up to a significant FPS increase. So make sure to use my link in the description below, reduce your latency with a click of a button, and improve your gaming performance with No Ping. You can try out the app yourself completely free for 7 days with my link. Vanessa Van Cleef, the daughter of Edwin Van Cleef that watched him when he was defeated by the forces. She was adopted later on, and when she grew up, she became a leader of the reformed Defiance Brotherhood, as it once again became a serious threat to Stormwind. Vanessa faked her own death and joined the Uncrowned and Legion, even fighting the son of Velen, the High General Rakesh, one of the most powerful demons ever, alongside Garona Half-Orcan. She is still active to this day as a part of the Uncrowned, even though we don't really know what she does. While Vanessa is said to not be as skilled in close combat as her father Edwin, she's nonetheless powerful and very skillful in crafting poisons, especially those that cause hallucinations and just straight out insanity. Vanessa even challenged the rogue champion, us the players, in combat, and was originally one of the leaders of the Uncrowned, but Blizzard later removed her. Admiral Titus. As opposed to many of the assassins on this list, this guy is a high-ranking member of the Bloodsail Buccaneers, who are none other than the absolutely most dangerous pirates on all of Azeroth. They are known as the least wealthy of all the pirate groups because these guys don't collect tribute, as no one survives their raids. Fleet Admiral Titus is the leader of those around Booty Bay, and I think that is as much of a description as you would need to see how powerful this guy is. In Legion, he joined the Uncrowned and became one of the leaders of all the rogues as a part of the Council of Shadows. As a pirate, he's experienced in both naval and land combat, and seeing that he survived leading the Scourge that are the Bloodsail Buccaneers, you can imagine he's quite powerful himself. Zul'jin. Everyone knows Zul'jin, but little do people know is that he's listed as a rogue, even though he's really loosely related to them, as he's more considered a warrior or an axe thrower. However, Zul'jin can also be considered a rogue, as he is notable for his stealth and ambush tactics and working from the shadows. He's even known as the Rogue Troll. As an Amani Troll, he hated the High Elves and mounted many raids on them, which were extremely deadly, which is why they hated him back. He joined the original Horde, was captured by High Elves, and had to cut off his own arm to escape, and later he launched a new attack only to be defeated in DBC. Zul'jin is known for having captured and tortured Lord Temar Terron himself, and for constantly resisting High Elven Ragers and fighting them. And a test to his power is the fact that he challenged other troll warlords to combat, which is how he united the Amani, and he is someone that he's been fighting his whole life. How much he's a rogue? It is hard to tell, as we don't have great accounts of his personal combat, but he is without a doubt one of the most powerful ones. Edwin Van Cleef. Interestingly enough, this guy is actually a builder, a guild master of the stonemasons, but all the people know is that prior to that position, he was actually a prominent fighter. Edwin was trained personally as a rogue by none other than Matthias Shaw himself, the head of the SI7. He was put in charge to rebuild Stormwind, but after a dispute over payment and a big injustice, he and his group turned into bandits and a serious criminal organization known as the Defias Brotherhood. Initially, they started as a rebellion, but this guy literally became the top criminal, doing everything you would imagine a serious criminal organization to do, from sabotage to extortion. Later, he was defeated by the adventurers after being a threat for many years, but little do people know he was also a great fighter himself, which is why he managed to obviously keep the position as the bandit leader. He was said to be very small and wiry with a really common appearance that allowed him to blend in, and he always preferred to take the offensive, fighting dirty, as in retreating and then attacking when the enemy is unassuming. Van Cleef also utilized his longbow to surprise enemies so that he can spring forward and do a sneak attack. Unfortunately, we haven't seen him in any notable duels, but you can imagine as the criminal overlord, he had his fair share of fights and had a pretty long reign until we put a stop to him. Jorah Ravenhold. Lord Jorah Ravenhold. Not much is really known of his beginnings, but more than likely he was a noble of the kingdom of Alterac before the fall. However, his rise to fame came as the leader of the Ravenhold, essentially the main guild for thieves and assassins before Legion. They are like the hidden band of assassins that are not exactly unfriendly, but they aren't friendly either, and they're just doing their own thing. Jorah played an important role in fighting the criminal organization Syndicate and even stole Radiant's eggs, which is why he was born in Ravenhold Manor. Later, during the Burning Legion invasion, he became the leader of the Uncrowned, a new rogue organization meant to defend Azeroth. As Jorah personally described it, they are the slayers of kings, downfall of empires, and the unseen blades that write the true history of this world. Now, not that much is known about his own physical prowess, but I guess you can just imagine. Jorah Ravenhold is a guy that has led a band of super dangerous assassins that are the best at their job, and then formed a new order of even more ultra dangerous rogues and criminals. So yes, you can imagine he would be quite powerful to be able to exert authority over these very powerful individuals. Maiev. So, once again, this is one of those rogues that are not actually a rogue, as she's a warden, but she is grouped in the game as a rogue because, as I said, this is a very loose characterization. Aside from being the oldest on this list, she also has the most experience, without a doubt. Initially, Maiev was a priestess, having fought against the original Burning Legion invasion of Azeroth, but later, Maiev would become known as she was the leader of the new elite force known as the Watchers, charged with looking over Illidan's prison. As you may know, he escaped. She chased him all the way to Outland, where she was captured herself. Then she was freed and fought against the newest Burning Legion invasion, and later was an alliance commander in the most recent faction conflict, and she was responsible for the retaking of Darkshore for the alliance. We have seen Maiev fighting a million times, fighting everything from gigantic demons to demon hunters to regular enemies, and in many cases she has been able to fight multiple opponents at once. Maiev is able to teleport short distances, uses a very strange weapon as a warden, and throws knives that can easily eliminate multiple opponents at the same time. Even though she prefers to strike from a position of surprise, she's more than capable of fighting face to face and is one of the greatest rogues that are currently alive. Matthias Shaw. The man from the shadows, the leader of the SI7, the Stormwind Secret Services. This guy is legit one of the most powerful people in any faction overall, as he always knows what is going on behind the scenes, who is scheming what, and he is always scheming something himself. However, Matthias Shaw is also an assassin himself and an excellent rogue. In fact, he personally trained Edwin Van Cleef, and he did many missions himself, assassinating multiple targets. There were times where Matthias faced off against many opponents such as the Twilight's Hammer Clan and successfully managed to defeat all of them. Nonetheless, Matthias Shaw is mainly known as the rogue, the guy that orders assassinations, and as the mastermind, he is without a doubt skilled in all the stealth tactics necessary, making him one of the most powerful rogues in World of Warcraft. Valeera. Most of you guys know her from Hearthstone, but she is actually one of the most powerful rogues ever. When Valeera was young, she was sold to become a gladiator, fighting alongside Varian Vryn, having defeated many powerful opponents in the arena. Eventually, as they escape, she became something of a bodyguard for Varian and later down the line Anduin. She was present in Wrath of the Lich King and joined the Uncrowned Legion as one of the leaders. There, she defeated Akari Shadowgore, one of Sargeras' best assassins, and helped cleanse the wound corrupted by the sword Incilatus. Then, Valeera was present, loyally serving Anduin through the faction conflict, and had a really minor role in Shadowlands. However, Valeera Sanguinar is known as one of the most famous and one of the most powerful of rogues in the entirety of Warcraft. She faced off against multiple opponents in the arena, fought N'Zoth and the Old God forces, the Twilight's Hammer Clan, demons, and a bunch of other enemies. Lillian Voss. One of the most powerful rogues currently active and also one of the leaders of the Forsaken after the fall of Sylvanas. So, originally, Lillian was a Scarlet Crusader that was forcibly raised into a Forsaken who could then order her execution. For this, Lillian Voss undertook a single-minded crusade against the Scarlet Crusade and the Necromancers and managed to kill her father Benedictus Voss, managed to kill a bunch of Scarlet Crusaders herself, and ultimately the very powerful High Inquisitor Whitemane. She then assassinated a headmaster of necromancy in Scholomance, hunted necromancers on Draenor, joined the Uncrowned Legion, and was a major character in BFA and later part of the Shadowlands. Despite being one of the leaders of the Uncrowned and the Forsaken, aside from being a political figure, she is also personally one of the strongest rogues out there, with a ton of experience, having proven herself in combat time and time again. At the moment, Lillian Voss is the most powerful and important undead rogue out there. And lastly, Garona Half-Orcan. Garona is a half-orc, half-Draenei with an incredibly tragic past that was raised in a barracks to become the most ferocious fighter possible, to ultimately be used by Gul'dan. Garona is most notable for assassinating the father of Varian, Lane Vryn, but her fate changed later on as she had a son with Medivh that is now half-Redcon, known as Medan, and together with him, she fought against the Twilight's Hammer Clan. Later, she joined us in the battle against Deathwing, who joined the Uncrowned, the rogue organization from Legion, and most importantly, she was active in BFA as well as up to this point as well. Garona is thought to be one of the most powerful, if not the most powerful rogue out there, because a lot of the other rogues are notable political figures or influential ones, but she is just an actual fighter. There was a time an ogre, an orc, a tauren, an night elf, and a forsaken as a part of the Twilight's Hammer Clan attacked her son, and she managed to defeat all of them. Garona attempted to assassinate Varian and almost managed to kill the giant ogre Cho'Gall himself. In Legion, she managed to infiltrate Stormwind and to fight against the High General Lakish of the Burning Legion. So right now, she may just be the most powerful rogue out there with a ton of actual live combat experience. Thank you for watching. Check out how big are the Dragon Isles by clicking on the screen and check out Doran's Academy for videos on real world history. See you next time.